Welcome to Knowledge on the Go, the podcast where we explore the best practices that have emerged in Vizient's PI collaboratives. I'm Jim Lichauer, the PI Program Director for Pharmacy at Vizient. On this episode, we're featuring Novant Health and that organization's journey to high reliability. Sandy Cox, Director of Patient Safety at Novant Health, comes from a clinical background and speaks from that background when she talks about Novant's overarching goal in patient care.
Part of Novant's mission is to deliver the most remarkable patient experience, but we have to do it safely. And we feel like our overarching goal is 0 events of preventable harm.
Working with Sandy to reach that goal is another patient safety director with a clinical background, Marcia Baker. Marcia tells us how their journey started.
Our journey started back in 2009. We created those behaviors, which were our universal skills. And those behaviors include 5 simple things that we really do every day, such as practice with a questioning attitude, communicate clearly, know and comply with red rules, self-check, focus on tasks, and support each other. We really reinforce our safety behaviors and error prevention tools to our team members. We have a unique system in that we have safety coaches. So these are our frontline team members who attend a monthly meeting. They bring back concerns that they may be experiencing in their departments or in their units. They also share great catch stories that they've experienced in those areas. And anything that we have identified as a trend, they're able to actually help solve those issues. So there's this two-way street between the leaders and our frontline team members to make sure that those things are identified and the problems are fixed. They meet on a monthly basis, and it is a multidisciplinary team. So we're able to be very creative in getting the message out to other team members.
Augmenting the work of safety coaches are activities further involving team members on the units. These approaches include safety huddles and visual management boards.
We do daily safety huddles at all of our acute care facilities. These are overarching meetings. They're typically in the morning, and a huddle allows for real-time communication and resolution of immediate safety concerns. It's looking back at the past 24 hours to determine how we're going to safely navigate the upcoming day. And we have some standardized methodology that we use to communicate that with. A lot of the leaders that join that call are getting that information from their unit-based huddles.
So with the unit-based huddles, they're quick, 15 minutes or less on the feet. Typically, they start with a quick safety moment, whether it's a safety story or if it's something that needs to be fixed. But they quickly go through the course of the day to decide, okay, this is our course. Not only do we have them on the units, but we've also taken it and we have these quick huddles in non-clinical areas for the purpose of planning for the day and being proactive instead of reactive. We do use visual management boards. I think that we put things on our boards that paint a beautiful picture of our progress. So whether it be our serious safety event rate and how we've progressed as an organization overall, or if it's a unit-based board, we may be looking at the number of falls and hopefully the decrease. We could be looking at UTIs, any of those things, just to make sure that team members know where we stand, what we're doing to decrease these numbers. Likewise, we'll do our safety behaviors and our error prevention tools there as a quick reminder. Our safety coaches, I have to say, and give them credit, they've really got a unique spin on how to engage our peers. So they'll do contests, they'll put all sorts of interesting things on the boards, quizzes, just lots of things to really engage team members to make sure that we are continuing to be vigilant and use those safety behaviors.
Those boards also give the teams opportunity to communicate what their top safety concerns for that particular unit are. And it gives them also the opportunity to share status updates on those improvement strategies and efforts, because we know that all, particularly the clinical staff at the sharp end, are not always able to get to emails. So these boards are great places for them to post that information that we're pushing out around patient safety. It's also a great space for them to recognize the team members within their own units that are making great catches and recognizing also their patient safety coaches. I think it's an opportunity for anybody on that unit to share collectively or individually information that's pertinent that needs to be shared. It may not just be one person. It just depends on the content and what needs to be put up. But it is a great way for them to see top concerns, what the strategy is that they've implemented to fix the problem or to address the issue, and to see what the outcomes of that might be.
Of the partnerships and teamwork Marcia and Sandy have developed, their work with marketing is one of the most beneficial. Getting the word out in front of hospital staff and patients keeps everyone engaged in high reliability concerns.
I believe when we partnered with marketing, it was probably one of our wisest strategies that we used as we went through our journey for patient safety and high reliability. And we worked really hard with them to engage our workforce, to keep safety visible.
Marketing has been instrumental in creating some wonderful tools to keep things in the forefront of folks' minds. For example, we started with things like elevator wraps, we had screen savers, we had toolkits, everything just listed just all around of our organization, even yard signs as you drove up to our different facilities, just reinforcing first do no harm as a whole.
We're also getting ready to start a program called Safety Star, where we can recognize our team members that do those great catches, that utilize our safety behaviors well. And we'll run that program through the safety coaches, and they'll select that based on some criteria that we're going to set forth for them.
If we see a trend that potentially could affect all of our facilities, we'll put out what's called an early notification alert. We have high level as well as low level. We will send a message out to all of the leaders of each facility and have them to cascade the message as appropriate.
Another example of how we partner with marketing is called Corporate Communications. It's a weekly publication that goes out on Mondays to all leaders. And then on Wednesday, pretty much the same information with maybe a little different slant goes out to all of our team members. It's called Team Connect and Leaders Digest. And that's a great way for us to get information out to all team members, not only clinical, but to clinical support. And that way we share great catch stories. We can identify trends where we have a program we call Safety Notes, and we put out monthly an initiative that we started several years ago. It's called Within Our Walls. And it gives us a really nice opportunity to highlight team members that have really made great catches and utilized our safety behaviors and error prevention tools to prevent an event of harm.
Folks seem to remember stories better. So we do feel that communication through the Within Our Walls, that hit home. It really helps us to tune in and to know what we can do personally to prevent it from happening next time.
Yeah, it's kind of that heart and head thing. You hear a story, you hear it in your head, but it really touches your heart. And those seem to make a greater impact on touching our team members.
To further the gains experienced through these efforts at engagement, Novant joined Vizient's high reliability and sustainability benchmarking study. Sandy and Marcia explain why they took this step and what they learned as a result.
Vizient's reputation for quality and safety is pretty well known to us at Novant Health. We've participated in various Vizient opportunities and other collaborators and felt like we've had good success with that. And we wanted to continue to grow in our efforts to improve safety and to enhance our high reliability efforts.
Absolutely. Vizient is such a leader in quality and safety. What better way to learn and to learn from other organizations out there? So one of the things that really stood out to me as we were going through some of the benchmark results, we have a lot of facilities under our umbrella. But one of the things that I think they said in that benchmarking study was variation hides issues. So we've worked really, really hard to make sure that that variation is at a minimal and we're all doing things the same.
Looking at the variation and developing standardization for best practice, that approach to address an ever-changing pandemic was absolutely necessary. And keeping our focus on safety was at the forefront. And it was really a guiding beacon in our efforts to address the COVID preparedness. We recently had a safety fair at one of our community-based hospitals, Mint Hill Medical Center. And this was an effort that was really led by their patient safety coached team. They had just revitalized, they had just regrouped, and in that effort to regroup, they wanted to make a recommitment to patient safety. And so this was led by their leadership, supported by their leadership, but was really operationalized by their patient safety coaches. Their safety fair ran for 7 days. It was just an absolute huge success. We're also trying to template that process to share throughout the Novant footprint so other facilities can use that same process. But they started it out with a really unique way to do things. They randomly placed pictures of Swiss cheese to generate conversation around what is the Swiss cheese? Why do we keep seeing pictures of Swiss cheese? And it would say, more information to come. And in a couple of days, that's when they revealed they were going to do the recommitment to safety and prevent holes in the Swiss cheese. And they had just some really neat things where they had a banner, a safety banner, and they posted it at the employee entrance, our team members' entrance. And they had safety coaches sitting there and asked every team member that walked through to recommit to safety, and they signed the poster. That poster featured some of our safety behaviors, and that poster is now the prize for whoever has the best safety story that month. They get to hang this poster up in their area. They had a poster contest. The winner of that got a month's worth of Keurig coffee supplies for that department. They had a room of horrors where you had to identify every safety breach that you could possibly think of. And they had prize winners for that. Great catch stories, just a nice 7-day run.
Once again, our ultimate goal is 0 events of harm. And with that said, even when we get there, we have to continue to strive to avoid drift and to keep our patients and our team members safe. So we always have to keep our eye on the prize. Even when we get the prize, it's just so important to continue to move forward and to always keep it in sight.
It is vital to have a well-developed safety program to keep your patients, your visitors, your team members safe and free from harm. And that reliability and resiliency play a critical role in that effort.
And in addition to that, just to have that buy-in from the top down, the leaders, the board even, and then to just show that passion to the team members, it win them over every time, and they'll follow you wherever you want to go.
That's all the time we have for this edition of Knowledge on the Go. And I want to thank Sandy Cox and Marcia Baker for joining us on this podcast. And thanks to you, our listeners, for taking the time to join us as well. And please look for future Knowledge on the Go podcasts. For Vizient, I'm Jim Lichauer. Thanks again for listening.